Let's bring in Patrick Moorhead, Moor Insights and Strategy CEO and Chief Analyst on a big day. Patrick, thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. I mean, it just seems like every week something big hits that we talk about it being unexpected, but maybe this shouldn't be unexpected.
Lisa said it's a big day for AMD, and I don't think that wasn't just bluster, right?
Well, it's not at all. I mean, AMD has been looked at as hey, are they real, right? They didn't have a GPU forecast like their biggest competitor, NVIDIA, so people were questioning if this was real or not. And I think today seals the deal. AMD is for real in the hyperscaler data center GPU market.
Is so much hand-wringing about circular revenue and vendor financing on the NVIDIA deal, but is it more interesting now that you could take that money and spend it elsewhere?
No, I think it's very interesting, and I've seen some stuff out there in the ethers talking about the potential that maybe they took some NVIDIA money, hypothetically, and could have purchased AMD GPUs. I think that's provocative, probably not the exact case, but it's technically feasible, particularly after what we saw Jensen talk about on a recent podcast last week.
Obviously, this is a big vote of confidence in the AMD story when it comes to being at the center of all of this. Is the technology that AMD, the chips, do they have the same capabilities as NVIDIA? Are they as advanced?
So I take this as OpenAI answering that question today. And what OpenAI is saying is a definitive yes. And it's very important to line up the right year, right? Second half 2026, AMD has what they call a scale-up solution where more GPUs can be addressed. And that lines up with directly with NVIDIA's version of that. And it is the first time that AMD has had this type of architecture. But I think OpenAI spoke for it today.
What do you think? Actually, Jim's going to have Jensen on his club meeting tomorrow. What do you think NVIDIA says in response to this?
I think they're going to say this is a proof point that we can't get enough GPU compute performance. And I think he'll also say competition is good. I mean, what else can he say at this juncture? He might. I mean, it was an interesting week, right, with $100 billion invested, and then 10 days later, you have the AMD piece hit. So, yeah, he will get some challenging questions for sure.
I mean, AMD is being completely re-rated now, up 29%.
Right.
So then how should you look at the valuation going forward if you're comparing it to an NVIDIA?
So if you want to look at the entire value of the deal, which by 2030 could be around $100 billion, which, by the way, I think that's conservative. I think $120 billion. And let's say 50% gross margin, worst case, that's what you should be re-rating AMD on. But today is a definitive day for them that they are a player in this market, and I think they are being rewarded. And even with the uptick at, let's say, 29% right now, it still appears like it has a lot of room to grow. And the full warrants come into play at a $600 valuation, and that's the final tranche. And what we haven't seen is the schedule of how much does OpenAI get based on a certain share price and how many GPUs trade hands. We have the 1 gigawatt deal that is in the tens of billions that is locked in so far.
Right. We're still trying to wrestle with these numbers and make them all make sense. Patrick, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
Good news on AMD.